It's the Resistance Report for August 28th, 2017. Now, starting today, you can also watch the Resistance Report, our videos and live feeds, on the Reich Report page on Facebook Watch. If you follow the page, you'll get a notification every time there's a new video. How exciting. Okay, what we try to do here is connect the dots, show you the big picture, give you context. Our hearts and concerns today are with the people of Southeast Texas and Louisiana who are dealing with the effects of Hurricane Harvey. But there's another story we've been following that explains a lot of what Donald Trump has been up to over the last few days. Now, remember, Trump was saying again and again during the campaign that he had no business dealings in Russia. Remember? Just have to remind you of that. I'm going to put a drawing up that you may remember. This is the fellow we're talking about. Well, you'll recognize him in just a minute. All right. Now, it turns out that Trump was actively pursuing, at that time, when he was saying no contacts with Russia, he was pursuing significant commercial interests in Russia, just as he was campaigning to be president. According to new documents that were formally submitted to Congress today, a business associate of Trump named Felix Slater, I'm going to draw Felix Slater. It's not an exact replication, but I will do my best. This is Slater here, and this is Felix Slater. Now Slater promised in 2015 to engineer a real estate deal with the aid of Putin, Vladimir Putin, Russian President Vladimir Putin, that Slater said would help Trump win the presidency. In an email to Trump's lawyer and vice president, Michael Cohen has got to be drawn to. Here's Michael Cohen, just so you can see how this thing works. So here's Michael Cohen. So here was the email. Slater wrote, and I'm going to quote, "Our boy can become president of the USA, and we can engineer it. I," that is Slater, "I will get all of Putin's team to buy in on this. I will manage this process," unquote. Now this is as close to a smoking gun as we have seen. Another email is from January 2016. This was also submitted to Congress today. In the midst of the presidential campaign, this second email, it was from Michael Cohen to Vladimir Putin's personal spokesman named Dmitry Peskov. I'm going to draw Dmitry right here. This is Peskov. And here's Dmitry Peskov. He has a little mustache. So you've got the second memo going from Michael Cohen to Dmitry Peskov. Here's Dmitry. Remember, he is Putin's right-hand man, asking for Putin's help. This is from Cohen. Asking for Putin's help advancing a stalled Trump Tower development project in Moscow. Now remember, at this time, Trump is on the campaign trail singing Putin's praises. Strong leader, that Putin. I can get along with him so well. Coincidence? Well, possibly, I suppose. And then what happened? You've got all of these people who are setting up this deal and are saying that they can help get Trump elected president. Were promises made by Trump to Putin and vice versa? Is this when the Kremlin agreed to help rig the U.S. election for Trump? Well, I suspect we're going to find this out. We're getting closer and closer. The noose is tightening. Now, all of this is raising a host of very inconvenient questions for Donald Trump. So what is Trump doing as this noose tightens? He is doing what he always does: deflect attention and shore up his base. So here's what he's done just in the last 3 days, and this is where we connect the dots. First, on Friday, the White House said Trump is likely to pull the plug on DACA. Now, that's the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals, the Obama-era program that allows young people who came to the United States illegally as children to remain here. Now, these kids didn't do anything wrong. Their parents may have done something wrong. These kids were brought here as very little tots. They've been here most of their lives. So what is the purpose of ending the DACA program? This is needlessly cruel. Why is Trump doing this? To shore up his base. Now, second, just connecting the dots. On Friday, he also directed the military not to allow transgender individuals to be recruited into the armed forces, following through on his intentions announced last month to ban transgender people from serving. And Trump is also holding out the possibility that current transgender troops will not be allowed to remain in the military. Now, folks, this is hardly necessary. These people want to serve the nation. So why is Trump doing this? To shore up his base. It's the same thing as DACA. Third, Trump pardoned former Arizona Sheriff Joe Arpaio. After Arpaio was convicted of violating the laws he was sworn to uphold, it's a direct attack by Trump on the Constitution because Arpaio's criminal act, remember, was against the judicial system, which had ordered him to stop abusing Latinos without any evidence of wrongdoing, arresting, locking them up for long periods of time without a trial. And Arpaio, remember, refused to stop, even in the face of a court order. And that's why he was found in criminal contempt. Now, Trump says Arpaio was doing his job, but the federal courts found that Arpaio was violating the Constitution. Some people have speculated that Arpaio's pardon might have been a sign of things to come in the Russia investigation. I mean, could Trump issue advance pardons to Michael Flynn, Paul Manafort, Jared Kushner, Roger Stone, and others before an indictment is issued against any of them, thereby making it impossible for Special Counsel Robert Mueller to strike deals with them for their cooperation? Possibly, yes. Pardons before indictments are not unprecedented. Arpaio could very well be a trial run in all of this. But the main reason why Trump pardoned Arpaio was the same thing as DACA and also transgender ban. It's to shore up his base, who applauded the sheriff's anti-immigrant tactics. And again, just to connect the dots, fourth, today, Trump said he'd be rolling back limits on providing local law enforcement agencies with surplus military gear, rescinding Obama's directive. Now, let's be clear. The militarization of police doesn't reduce crime. In fact, all of the evidence shows it has the opposite effect. Using weapons of war in poor communities escalates tensions. Effective policing depends on forming partnerships with communities. So why is Trump doing this? The only reason to rescind Obama's directive with regard to the militarization of local police is it will cause more problems in communities of color. And Trump is doing this, I hope I'm not sounding too cynical, to shore up his base. So let me get this straight. Trump is pardoning lawless sheriffs and militarizing the police. Folks, this is dangerous territory. Let's connect the dots. Ending DACA, the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals, not allowing transgender individuals to serve in the military, pardoning Sheriff Joe Arpaio, militarizing the police. Now, this is all just over the last 3 days. All of these actions send a signal to Trump's base that Trump is going to deal harshly with immigrants, Latinos, transgendered people, and African Americans. And that base, the intensity of their support for Donald Trump, is what Trump is relying on to keep Republicans in line, regardless of what comes out about Trump and Putin, and also regardless of Trump's failure to repeal the Affordable Care Act or get money for his wall or do anything else he has promised. Today marks the 54th anniversary of the historic March on Washington, where Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. gave his "I Have a Dream" speech. His powerful call for equal justice and equal rights changed the course of American history in the face of overwhelming hate and opposition. Now, as the country once again confronts a moral crisis, may King's message of unity and peaceful resistance help guide us through these perilous times. Now it's time for your questions. And I have them right here. I have not seen them until right now. Wendy White. With all that has happened during the August recess, do you think Republicans will be more vocal in their opposition when everyone returns next week? Wendy, I think that some leading Republicans, particularly in the Senate, have got a little bit more courage, a little bit more of their voice. But as I said a moment ago, as long as 70% of registered Republicans, now the number of registered Republicans keeps on shrinking, you ought to know that, but as long as 70% of registered Republicans continue to support Donald Trump, I don't think we're going to be able to count on the courage of elected Republicans to stand up to him. Just watch as the Republican Party shrinks, and also as Trump's support also shrinks, maybe we'll get more courage. Shane Peterson, how do we reach the 40% of people who do not vote? Shane, that is a terrific question, and the way you do that, I mean, the 2018 elections are going to be determined by turnout. And as you suggest, the largest party in America is not Republicans, it is not Democrats, it's not independents, it's the party of non-voters. So, Shane, you're exactly right to ask this question. I think the only way to get them out is to motivate them. And how do you motivate them? You motivate them two ways, and you have to do two things. Not just in terms of their opposition to what Trump has been doing and his assault on the Constitution and our democracy, but also you've got to give them a vision of what can be in the future. And that's why I was thinking about Dr. Martin Luther King's "I Have a Dream" speech. I mean, that was a vision of where we are going, we need to go. And maybe that's too much to ask for most Democratic politicians, but certainly that's what needs to be out there. That's the vision. It's got to be an affirmative vision to get people out, to get people to really care about voting, not just anti-Trump. Xandra Coexist. Is that your real name, Xandra? Coexist is your last name? Okay. Resistance is necessary. What we are resisting isn't always so clear. The corporate agenda has a sneaky way of creeping in. How do we counter corporate propaganda in all its nefarious forms? What are some principles to remember? Well, Xandra, I think the most important thing is to be skeptical without being cynical. That is, always look for who is funding the information you are getting. Now, sometimes there's no funder. I mean, let's be candid and let's be frank. You are getting this free of charge, and I'm not being paid, and we're doing it out of the love of our hearts to get you the information you need. But very often, corporate propaganda comes in very distorted ways. Corporations sponsor think tanks, and they actually pay for so-called experts, and the propaganda comes up in all sorts of subtle ways. So always follow the money. Donna Zander. How do we keep hope alive when there is more bad news every day? Donna, I keep asking myself that question as well. It's been a rough August, given Charlottesville and everything else. I was hoping that we would all have a little bit of a chance to take a breath, given the Trump regime and the last 7 months. And we didn't have much chance to take a breath. I think what we need to do, honestly, all of us, is, number one, not watch the news every day. I mean, maybe take a day off. Number two, and we have a video about this, how to kind of a Trump survival guide for the summer. Number two, what you want to do is look for something that you can laugh at. I think satire is a very, very important thing. Humor is the greatest disinfectant. We are going to try to incorporate a little bit more humor. I don't know how we can, because I don't feel very funny in these Trump times, but we're going to try to do it. I think also friendships are very important. And finally, it is terribly important to be activist. I think to be an activist citizen, to actually mobilize and organize, is itself very therapeutic. I find it very therapeutic. Finally, we have two more. Bernadette Colgan. How can we prevent something like the Trump presidency from ever happening again? Well, Bernadette, the only silver lining, honestly, on the presidency, as far as I can tell, is that it alerts us to what can happen if we don't really participate enough, if we let our guard down, if we allow the liars. And basically Trump, he was already a distinguished liar. Remember the birther controversy? If we allow them to gain traction, then shame on us. If it happens twice, shame on us doubly. What was that? I remember George W. Bush. He tried that saying, shame on us once, shame on us twice. I can't remember it. But yes, shame on us, really, big time, if we allow this ever to happen again. The silver lining is that we are all alerted, not only to the fragility of our politics and the fragility of our democracy, but also to the necessity of our engagement. And finally, Barbara Coleman, what are the odds of martial law or a nationwide state of emergency being declared soon? Barbara, I don't see it. I think that obviously anything is possible, but I don't see how, and I'm assuming you're talking about Donald Trump. I don't see how he possibly does that. There are checks and balances. There is federalism. There are Democratic governors. There are many checks on his power, and not the least check is the American people. So in my darkest moments, I succumb to those kinds of fears, but I really don't think we have that to fear. The greatest fear I have, honestly, is that we're going to all get exhausted. It's only been 7 months. We've got 41 months to go. And that we will, out of exhaustion, we will normalize what's happening, and we will lose our own outrage to the point where we will not take the actions that need to be taken. And I'm thinking particularly of getting organized for 2018, for the midterm elections. Please don't forget that. I want to thank you all for joining us. I will see you again on Wednesday, and I particularly want to thank two people who have been hugely helpful in making this happen, Sasha Lightman and Andrew Santana, and thank all of you. See you Wednesday.